Hello and welcome to the April edition of Community Connect. Thanks for joining us. Our guest this month is Eriann Faris. Eriann Faris is with the Southwest Minnesota Private Industry Council. Thanks for joining us this month.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Good. As always, we'll kind of recap some of the things that went on in March, and then we'll join in with Eriann and talk about some exciting things that we have going on in the area. So, in March, the museum had a traveling exhibit called A Century of Civic Engagement, League of Women Voters in Minnesota, that was put on at the Lyon County Museum. So the whole month of March on the second floor of the museum, Jennifer and her volunteers had a really nice and exciting exhibit. Traveling Trivia came back in March. We had a good turnout at Applebee's. It is still the COVID version where you show up, you get a couple of sheets, and you follow along that way. Eventually, we'll get back to the way it was rolled out, which is a little bit more digital. Eriann, have you ever been to Traveling Trivia?
No, I have not, but I would love to go sometime.
It is. It started 2 Septembers ago, and at that point, we were getting close to 140 people to come. It's a great way. You go out there with your friends or some family members, and you do trivia for as long as you want. It's great fun. Winter sports has mostly wound down for Tigers. Of course, we'll get to a little bit about tonight, but winter sports has mostly wound down. Congratulations to the wrestling team, gymnastics, hockey, dance, and the boys basketball team. And so another good year of winter sports. And I'm sure I'm missing a few activities, but again, congratulations to all of our athletes here in Marshall. And the Alaska Anchorage Ice Dogs team has finally come to an end. Did end up this past Easter weekend. They played on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday against the Minnesota Magicians. How lucky is Marshall to have this team? Did you go to any hockey games?
I have not, no.
So we had such great support, and in turn, they supported Marshall. You know, I belong to the YMCA, and I saw those players always there working out, but the families that they stayed with, I mean, they were basically a family member for, the 4 to 5 months that they were here. And and I work with, one family that had one of those players, and they just loved having this. It's like fostering a kid for 4 to 5 months, and now they are all back to Alaska. And again, thanks to Rob and Cassie from the Visit Marshall team, who's also the girls hockey coach, helped bring this team to town. And what a great addition they were to the Marshall area. So that brings us to our guest. As I mentioned, Eriann Faris. She is the youth program manager for the Private Industry Council. And she has been there for 15 years, so she's been on a long run. And she takes great pride in building a solid workforce pipeline for businesses in the area. And she and I, along with the Marshall Public Schools and a few other partners in the area, had a lot of Zoom calls. Right before we started, I said to Eriann, this is the first time I've seen her in person in a long, long time, but we have been on the same Zoom calls now for about 7 to 8 months straight. So again, thanks for being here.
Yes.
So we have had a lot of discussions about this work and learn coordinator. Talk to us about that, the importance of having this work and learn coordinator on a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So Southwest Minnesota, we have a really low unemployment rate. In February of 2021, it was 4.2% in Lyon County. And in addition to our low unemployment rate, we also are facing declining populations and high job vacancy rates. So these factors combined really create big labor force challenges for our local employers. So we believe, or we have now recognized that, in order to get through these barriers, we need to train and get looking at that diverse workforce. So in terms of age, gender, race, disability, kind of has been and will continue to be a vital source of workers. Especially as the white native-born workforce continues to age. And I think we've lost some of that now with COVID, that baby boomer population we were working hard to get in front of, and now I think we lost them a little sooner than we had anticipated.
Right, and this is something we saw, speaking of the baby boomers, we saw this coming 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now to have a work and learn coordinator in play is crucial, because now they're going to be able to be in touch with these businesses to see what kind of positions they need. So tell us about the role of this person that we are putting on staff, what's the role of this work and learn coordinator?
Yeah, so the role of the Work and Learn Coordinator is really to connect our education with industry. So time and time again, we hear from industry that they want to get connected with the schools, and the schools want to get connected with industry. They more than anything want to make sure that they are they're very dedicated to the excellence of the students and putting these students out there to fill these job vacancies, but they don't know what they don't know. Our students don't know what they don't know, and oftentimes employers aren't really sure in the school systems where to connect to and how to connect. And I think oftentimes too, employers do not have the time or the capacity to always logistically work out what that looks like and what it doesn't look like, and neither do our educators.
Right.
And so really having this person who can be intentional and really focus on creating work-based learning opportunities where students and employers can engage and grow awareness of what skills need to be learned, maybe even come out with some industry recognized credentials. But really helping these students who sit on a lot of skills and talents and abilities, really helping them to connect to our future and our current job vacancies that we have.
Right. We first met last fall, I think, at the Red Baron Arena. Actually, we did see each other in person at our very first meeting last October. And from that meeting, we probably had close to 30 to 35 people that came, and it rolled out by then interim Superintendent Jeremy Williams, the importance of, at that point, the unemployment rate was pretty low, and it's actually lower now. Out of that meeting, we have had a lot of good partners. Let's talk about some of those partners for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Lockwood Motors is definitely on board with helping us out, and Ace Hardware. We've got the Lyon County Economic Development Authority, and we've got the Chamber of Commerce. We've got U.S. Bank. We've got other foundations too that are being a part of this, like the Southwest Initiative Foundation, Launch Your Future Today, the Southwest West Central Service Co-op, and really couldn't do it without our local school districts. So as you mentioned, the Marshall Public School, but we've also got some very other influential school districts a part of this work, and that's the Tracy Area High School as well as the Minneota High School. So yeah, we've definitely got a lot of connecting and some fun focus to put out there with these partners. I think they too are in the same boats where they want to get connected. But again, that time and capacity, you just don't always have it. So making sure that somebody can really create those connections and be intentional about getting these students connected. Because I think too, we hear time and time again that students, they want to stay living here if they can find the right job. And so we want to be able to, I think, capitalize on that. That's great news for rural communities and employers that I think it was a couple years ago, obviously we couldn't have the last Career Expo, Southwest Minnesota Career Expo that we have in Marshall and Worthington every year. But we always survey the 10th graders, and 75% of them indicated that they will stay living here if they have the right job. So I think, again, we just really have to capitalize on getting these students connected. It increases their social capital, and I think that really helps too, even if they do go away to get trained, to know that they got connections back in their hometown. And I would say probably more often now, if they are visiting employers, the employers are probably throwing themselves at them saying, if you come back, you have a job.
Right. You mentioned Tracy, Minneota, Marshall. For those that are watching, like, well, what about my grandchildren at Lakeview or RTR? There's already programs there.
There is, yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, because we do. So we're really trying to, the Southwest Minnesota Workforce Development Board is really trying to create this intentional focus for all of our school districts. So for several years, our board has received dollars, the Workforce Development Board, to go out and support our school districts around career and college readiness types of programming, activities, and experiences. But it's never enough to do really what you need to. And so, we have 14 counties and over 40 school districts. And so what we can really do with these school districts is not much. And so really what we've done is, with these great partners and investors and our stakeholders, is really been able to create this staff position then. So now we do have them. We have one that supports the Minnesota River Valley Education Career and Education Center there, and there is 5 school districts there that is a part of that. So we have a work and learn coordinator that works with those schools and tries to connect their students and their teachers to industry up there. And we also have some things going on down in Jackson, Windham, and Worthington, and now just recently Minneota, Marshall, and Tracy. So really hoping to kind of continue this work of this intermediary or the single point of contact, just to minimize to the work that it, can really be involved on an employer or an educator side to make these really comprehensive programs for our students.
So I think any employer could say this, that if they lose, like if a plumber or even an accountant or whatever the case, if they lose an employee to a competitor, it's just a big domino effect, because then the plumber, then there's one plumber will take one from another plumber, but the next plumber will take the next plumber, and the same with the accountant or whatever. So this kind of position is super crucial. But what are some of those jobs that are the most high demand? I think I just named a couple, but
just so I know too, as of just yesterday, I kind of looked that up just to make sure I had that information. And personal care aides are a big one. Registered nurses, as we know, healthcare is high demand. Retail salesperson, even the transportation industry, that heavy truck, tractor trailer truck drivers, maintenance, mechanical staff, those are in high demand as well. Teachers, our educators definitely are looking. Laborers and freight, material handlers and movers are also occupations that are in demand. There's probably over 200 occupations that are in demand right now in Lyon County and surrounding communities.
Sure. What type of community support will be helpful to ensure the goals and objectives of this new staff person to be successful for the prosperity of the students moving forward?
Yeah, so I think, really the employers, having employers ready to engage. We need their feedback, we need your input. We need to know how that we can best support their hiring needs and the workforce development needs. I think we also need innovative community leaders that are really ready to blaze the trail and put some intentional focus on how we bridge education and industry so that work-based learning and these opportunities become instinct and automatic and not so, sometimes they're just not straightforward, and the ability to make them accessible is tough too, because you talk to employers and they have numerous amounts of opportunities within. But I think too, a lot of times our mindsets are so focused on that typical pathway. We've gone to graduation ceremonies and asked the high school, what college are you going to? And when we visit with our employers, that's not the pathway that's going to really work for them. It's really, it really needs to be that career pathway, the major, and then whatever that is. And for some, it might be just going right to work. And I think, we've learned too that according to SLED's data, or the Minnesota longitudinal education data system, 1/4 of our high schoolers graduate and they join the workforce right after high school. And it's not problematic that they're going into, or that they're not going to college, but rather that they're preparing for jobs, that they've been preparing for something that now they're going into a job and not college. That's oftentimes kind of what you're being prepared for sometimes. And so I think it's just really one of them things, how the students perceive kind of to what their local labor market is going to make a huge difference for our employers to fill job vacancies.
Right. So if an employer is interested in, so 2 questions. One, is this person going to start? And number 2, if a business wants to reach out to this person or yourself, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so we hired Renee Jenegas. She's a current staff of ours. She was actually supporting the Minnesota River Valley Career and Tech Ed Center, so she comes with some great experience, and so she'll begin April 19th. She would have begun a lot sooner, but she was out having a baby, so she will be back on maternity leave April 19th. And we have been doing some great work already, even with the schools, just really trying to to lay some groundwork for Renee to really start connecting with the industry, because we don't want to just go to employers either and say expose, give them experiences. We need to be specific and we need to be strategic. And so that's really understanding from both parties what that all is, so we can really map out a great plan. So I would say, definitely getting a hold of Renee Genegas would be the first start. However, if you're eager to have conversations earlier than April 19th, as you can tell, I'm super pumped about all this too. So
Right.
I would love to visit with anybody that would be interested, because I really think it is just finding that tried and true way of making these connections so that these students can automatically, whether it's college or workforce, have the opportunity to know and make a good decision.
Sure. Good. All right, so lots going on. Again, Eriann works with the Southwest Minnesota Private Industry Council. You can always reach out to myself. As you heard, we're a partner too. So more to come. Thanks for being here. And you will be hearing more from us moving forward regarding the Work and Learn Coordinator. So let's talk about what's going on in April, because there is a whole lot going on in April. Today is Tuesday, the 6th. Tonight, the Marshall Tigers girls basketball team is playing against Holy Angels, 7 o'clock, Channel 45. Obviously, you can listen to it on Marshall Radio. If they win tonight, they go to the championship this upcoming Friday. So a little bit of a different schedule than it normally is for state sports this year. But cheer on the Tigers. We love to have a championship right here in the good town of Marshall. A couple other things. SMSU is hosting a spring theater performance called An American House. It started again in March, and it's going to be going on again this upcoming weekend in April, and again next weekend. The Rally Around Marshall is coming back for a second year. This is a local gift card and donation campaign that the Marshall Chamber put on last May. And what it is just a quick shot in the arm for the Marshall industry and our members. So individuals can give us a call on April 20th, 532-4484, and buy gift cards to local shops, boutiques, restaurants, whoever. Also, you can also donate to our local nonprofits. Eriann knows very well that nonprofits have really had a hard time this past year too. So give us a call. We would love to take your information over the phone. This will be available on our website too, so people can go on our website and buy gift cards as well. Traveling Trivia is back again this month. It'll be 1 week later than usual. It's going to be on Thursday, April 22nd. This will be at the golf course. Again, come on out with your friends, get a meal, get a couple of trivia sheets. It'll be worth your time. The State of the City address. This is the third year the Chamber of Commerce has hosted the State of the City. This is going to be on Wednesday, April 28th, in person. I have not talked about any events yet virtually. So this one also is going to be in person, 11:45 to 1 o'clock, April 28th. We'll be hearing from Mayor Bob Burns and our City Administrator Sharon Hansen. Talk about some of the things the positive things that happened in 2020 and what to expect for the rest of this year. So registration can be found on our website. So I'm a sports nerd, and to even capitalize on more, I love the NFL draft. That is April 29th. And we all know that one of our local products is going to be drafted likely on the first night. Trey Lance is going to be hopefully in the top 15 picks that night. So I would encourage everybody to again rally behind Trey Lance. It'll be a really fun night. Are you a sports person?
I'm not, but if you talk to my husband, he'd go on for
Right.
hours with you.
Yeah. I love it. I'm a big draft nerd, that's for sure. The one virtual conference there is going on in April is the SMSU Women's Leadership Conference. This is planned for Friday, April 30th from 8:15 until 5. This is going to be a virtual event. The keynote speaker will feature a speaker who has already made a long-lasting impression of the SMSU faculty or family. Rachel Baraboo is her name, and she's a nationally recognized sportscaster and activist who will give the keynote. So to register, go to smsualumni.com. Lastly, is our coupon book. This has been, it's April, beginning of April. This has been out now for 2 months. There are a lot of great deals. Now, It is springtime, which means flowers and a lot of outdoors type of stuff, bird seed. There are all sorts of coupons in this book that you can apply to a lot of your spring purchases. So this is the $30 book. We have plenty at the Chamber. There are also some at Ace Hardware. There's some at Borges. There's some at Hy-Vee. Some of our downtown shops like Nessus Natural. So, and also there's all sorts of groups out there. Some nonprofit groups, school groups are selling them, and then they get to keep $5 per book as a mini fundraiser for Lakeview Prom, for example, or the cross-country team at Marshall High School. So get your coupon book today. You can also do a digital version. You go to our website. If you're thinking, well, I always forget my coupon book at home, you can actually get a digital version of the coupon book too. So look it up. It is well worth your money. All these updates can be found on our website. Our website is marshallmn.org. The visit website is visitmarshallmn.com. We share a community calendar together. So a lot of these things I talked about are on there. Next month, the month of May, is Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. So we have Sheriff Eric Wallen is going to be coming in to be my guest in May. So with that, Eriann, sure do appreciate being my guest today.
Yes, thank you.
And we will see you in May.
Sounds good.